Get a Job in Tech, episode 456. Living and working in an area, let's say, for instance, North Dakota, and you have to drive 60 miles just to get to work. What are the factors in that? What's the mindset like for an individual doing that? Take that and now move to Los Angeles, where it's not that you're 60 miles away, it's literally like you're an hour away. You might be 10 miles away, but traffic is so much that it literally takes you an hour to get to work. And do you take transport? Yeah. Drive a car, maybe a motorcycle. Yeah. But those are the type of things to think about. But getting a job nowadays, a little different than, say, 2020 or 2019, let's say, where jobs were a lot abundant. A lot of IT jobs, working from home, things like that. A lot of companies nowadays don't want to do that for whatever reason. They want you butt in seat at the office, which is fine. That company does, you're there to contribute to the bottom line of the company. The company says X, you do X, unless you don't want to work there anymore. So do what you need to do to get that, to get the money, so you can eventually one day work for yourself, essentially, or have enough income to where it doesn't matter. You can have FU income, essentially, after a while. Yeah, that's nice. It's nice to have. But 60 miles away, really, the thought project is this. You're looking for a job out there, you're new in IT, whatever, work at McDonald's, Walmart, whatever, and you want to kind of calculate, not the hourly rate, more the time, how much time I'm going to take to get to this job, and mentally prepare yourself. So you have a circle, and you draw a circle on paper, and then that's you, where you're at. Then you have another circle around that's like 10 miles around you, 10 miles away. Another circle, 20 miles, another circle, 30, et cetera, et cetera. And if you're looking for jobs, you reference this sheet and say, is the job 60 miles away? Okay. So here's what it looks like for me mentally. Prepare. That would mean you would need to wake up 2 hours prior to going to work. So if you're early riser, it's easy. If you're not, it's not. It also means when coming home, that's probably like a 2 hour, maybe an hour and a half commute, something like that. So in the evening, when you're coming home, it's an hour and a half commute. Going there, it's an hour, maybe an hour and a half commute as well. But mentally, you have to prepare yourself for that when you're going to this job. Having also some of the items with you, like your food, preparing your food prior to the work week, things like that. Just anything like that. And around the area where you work at, are there shops? Are there restaurants? Are there places you can get stuff that you need? Maybe you forgot something at home, you need something. So you go to these shops nearby and get that item you need. Maybe you need a pick-me-up. You need some mango drinks or whatever. Is there a place around that has those type of beverages that you desire to drink? Yeah, those things like that. If you're sick, that's another thing. If you're sick, do you have enough sick time when you work for this new company? That's the one. I don't think that's a question a lot of people ask, actually, when they go for an interview and they say, well, I want 10 hours of sick leave right away. Because if you go and work in an office, people are going to be sick 100%. They have kids, those kids, or your kids, let's say, whatever, get sick. People get sick. It's just a common thing. So if you're in an office and you get sick, you don't have any if you don't have any sick time, then you're going to go LWOP, leave without pay. It's a common thing. But if you ask the company, and a lot of people don't even think about this, actually, and there's maybe something to think about before you go there, just to get it. Hey, I want 10 hours of vacation before I even start, just so I know I have that buffer. In case I get sick, I have some hours saved up prior to start working there. Especially if you're working from home, it's really helpful. And when you're at your office, you can bring certain items with you to block out the air conditioner. Maybe there's an air conditioner overhead, so you buy this it's like a tarp, not a tarp. It's a uh, uh, I guess it's like a not a fan. It's a device. It's something you plug into a table, and it has a little stick thing, and over the top is like a little um, not a feather. It's not a fan, but it's something to block out essentially the the air conditioner essentially, so you don't have that constant AC uh, going down on you all the time, which can make you sick as well, definitely. And as well, like I don't think a lot of people understand about electricity and how that affects the body as well. So having like earphones, having some maybe like an MP3 player or even your phone plugging in, so you have headphones and then you have maybe some rain sound, something like that, just to distract from the noise, the frequency, or even under the desk or on your computer desk where we work at. There's also like power cables and 13 amps, 15 amps, whatever it is. And if they're right under your desk, that's the EMF, or that is it's called voltage, power voltage, essentially. EMF, whatever. Even your computer desk, your monitor has the same thing, radiation, if you will, the low levels of radiation. But if you can somehow take and identify that and move it maybe to the right or to the left, not directly underneath your desk, to where you know that those EMF or generate the frequency is those the radiation essentially from the power is radiating underneath your desk, and you're sitting down and all that's coming at you essentially. So if you can find a way to move that away or to the side so it's not a factor, it's exposure to that after day could affect your mood, could affect a lot of things. If you have an area where you have a walk path or somewhere where you can walk outside, highly recommended to do that. And just to get out of the office, take a break from that. And then the other thing is, going back to just the original conversation, the end goal. Like, you're working somewhere, you're working there 5 years, 10 years. What does it look like for you? What does success look like for you from this job? And write it down, like your expectations, day one or day two or whatever, how many weeks you've been there. Write down, like, what are your expectations of the job? What have you noticed? And why do you work here, essentially? You write it down, why do I work here? And you write down like 10 items, essentially. Here's why I work here. And they could be whatever, help desk, whatever you do, network, and admin, engineer, whatever your job title is. And just write down specific things, 10 things that you do for that company at that location, and then have it, and then refer to it. Okay, here's what they are. And if your leadership ever asks you what you've been doing, and you just say, here's my objectives for this job, I wrote them down, here's what I think they are. If I'm not accurate, or if I'm incorrect in this, you just please let me know if this is inaccurate, and I'll remedy that, or I'll rectify those tasks, or my mission here, essentially. And your leadership will definitely say, oh yeah, here's your mission, here's why we hired you for this role, so that you can be more an effective team player, coworker, if you will. The other thing is to be observant, and not to talk too much at work, let's say, effectively. Write stuff down. Somebody tells you to do something, write it down, so you can note, like, okay, here's the task. Treat it not as something that lives in your brain, something that stays on paper. And then when you complete the task, then you say to the individual, email them and say, per our conversation, I completed this task, XYZ, whatever it is. If you have a ticking system, do that. If it's something that doesn't really doesn't really need to be in a ticking system, just email them, per conversation, I completed this task, XYZ. And so you can reference it later on. Say, okay, here's here's what I've done throughout the day, or here's what I've done throughout the week, whatever the task is. What's also helpful is noting your time. Like, for instance, your first 2-3 weeks, month, whatever, where you're at, write down the time you leave, write the time you arrive, write down the time you leave from work, write down just to kind of calculate how many hours it takes you to get from your home to work, and then from work to home. And then, so you have a pattern, essentially. Now you can critique that a little bit, say, okay, I know it takes me X amount of hours to leave, so I need to plan accordingly. So if there's an early meeting, you're going to know, okay, I can't make that meeting, so I have to leave early, because based on the data that when I've left to work and arrived to work, it's not going to work. So I need to leave earlier. I need to plan accordingly. And just tracking your hours, essentially, tracking your time, tracking when it's just really helpful for you to track your allocate your time throughout the day. It's really easy also to get caught up on one task at work and to forget, are you working on the wrong task? You could be, doing this thing and it's not even needed. You're doing the wrong thing. You're just wasting time. So taking a check and say to the leadership, I'm working on this. Is this the direction you want to go with this task? And they'll say, oh, yeah, perfect. Okay, good. So just so I know. And then you continue on. If not, they'll address, oh, no, okay, so I need to adjust. Then you adjust accordingly to whatever it is they want you to do. That's a common thing. Common companies do that. They'll work on something and then they'll change. So just be ready for those type of things to happen. Well, again, draw a circle, 10 miles, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever. And then if you're looking for a job, good luck. But if you understand how long it's going to take you to get a job, then you can plan accordingly. And also it can really fuel how much money you're going to make. If it's a minimum wage job and it's an hour away, maybe it's not for you. And you're going to know that because you're going to have this code, this formula, whatever you want to call it, where you're going to say, it takes you 60, an hour to get the job. It's really not worth it for me to work there because I'm going to lose money, essentially. Really, you will. If you make minimum wage and you drive 60 miles, it's not going to be beneficial for you. Okay, thanks a lot. We'll see you in the next one.